Well, Pakistan and Russia are looking to deepen cooperation in trade, energy and regional connectivity, with both sides seeking to translate growing political engagement into tangible economic outcomes. But how much progress has actually been made and what lies ahead? Well, to discuss this, we're joined by Dr. Roxolana Zigon, the Director of the Scientific Center for International Research, joining us from Moscow. Thank you so much for joining us. So Pakistan and Russia have signed several agreements in recent years. From Moscow's perspective, what convinces you that this relationship is moving beyond symbolism and into a genuine economic partnership?
Thank you for this question. And I would like to take the word symbolism, much forward. So I would like to unpack it or decode that meaning. In fact, the economic dialogue between Russia and Pakistan has been dwelling for years and for decades within the general geopolitical context, so within a long-term gap or a certain strategic mindset that has been preventing both parties and nations to move successfully forward. And you have correctly mentioned that the last years have been marked by the whole set of signed agreements in order to booster and foster economic collaboration development between Russia and Pakistan. Today, we have we had a webinar between Russia and Pakistan organized here in Moscow that has become a playground, or let's say platform of discussion between different policymakers, scholars, diplomats, foreign gas, representatives from the business, in order to make a summary, let's say to make an insight what's actually Russia and Pakistan are looking forward. So what are the strategic outlines for that cooperation in the future? And in order to move from symbolism towards a pragmatic approach, all the participants and speakers have been actively discussing different roadmaps and practical solutions that can actually help to make business to business and people to people diplomacy come together. And that meeting had actually underlined a great difference between all the meetings, seminars, conferences that used to take place for a long time between two countries. Actually, that discussion shaped a kind of synthesis of new instruments, practical instruments of overcoming geopolitical tension and get into a very pragmatic dialogue between the parties, disregarding all those kind of insinuations and discussions around Russia, sanctions, etc. So two nations, Islamabad and Moscow, are strictly focused and aiming at a pragmatic dialogue to put it forward.
And despite growing political engagement, bilateral trade remains relatively modest. What's holding back both sides from unlocking their full economic potential?
Definitely, as I mentioned before, a strategic mindset that used to be an oppressive agenda, for both parties for a long time. Now, slowly but steadily, that kind of hurdle is removing. So indeed, the trade turnover between countries is quite modest. And first of all, two parties have to overcome a connectivity issue to make the visas issue much easier, to make instruments and mechanism of making people visit each other, so to develop tourism, to open the country, the environment of the country, of the business, for each other from scratch. Practically speaking, we're starting in the new era of discovering a relationship. And the second issue, of course, that has been really following up for Russia-Pakistan relationship is India. So we are trying now to move away from that context and trying to build a direct economic link between Russia and Pakistan, disregarding any kind of geopolitical and political issues. I think that's really important and precious in order to make business to operate more actively. And also, we should not forget about Iran and the situation in the South Asia, I mean, in consideration to the security aspects, and Russia and Pakistan are really interested to resolve those issues by diplomatic instruments, etc. It will definitely help to raise the issue of connectivity, new trade corridors, because Pakistan is actually trying and willing to join the international transportation corridor south and north that Russia is promoting quite actively, and both parties are interested in building a new security architecture on a bigger Eurasia, in consideration, of course, to the interest in Central Asia. So there are plenty of issues that have to be overcome, and also they have to be considered in order to increase their trade turnaround between countries tremendously in the future.
And energy cooperation has become a key focus. Which projects do you believe are most likely to deliver concrete results in the near future?
Practically, we should keep in mind that Pakistan is heavily dependent on energy supply. So the issue of energy security is at the top priority list for Pakistan. So 85% of oil is imported. Therefore, Russia has been always a reliable partner, and Pakistan is interested in enhancing this collaboration and secure its energy energy status. Therefore, the relationship between Russia and Pakistan in the sphere of energy gains much more importance. And all those memorandum of understanding that have been signed between Russia and Pakistan recently are just the beginning of expanding that relationship.
And Pakistan wants to position itself as a regional connectivity hub. How important is Pakistan to Russia's long-term vision for transport corridors, such as the international north-south transport corridor?
In fact, post-Iran situation, or let's say a continuous issue of security in consideration to Iran, that conflict has been not sealed down yet, and it's going to stay for quite some time, you know, a critical issue for the whole region. Therefore, Russia and Pakistan are looking forward into building new logistics and new transportation corridors, and we know that Russia is promoting, as I mentioned, international project of transportation corridor south north.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.